Okay, it's recording. Okay,
Yep.
so, yeah, everyone can wave to the camera if they want. Okay, my teaching goal is to try to get newcomer students to practice writing more in English. I noticed that with difficult projects like capstones, like senior capstone, and writing essays like a Hamlet essay, typically if English isn't your first language, it's a little bit easier to write in your native language, say Spanish, and then use Google Translate to translate it from Spanish into English. And my question is, what do you think would be some ways to help students practice writing academically in English instead of writing in Spanish and then translating it to English? Because our goal is to practice writing like in English, but I understand why given Google Translate, it's easier to go Spanish, translate it into English. So my question is, what are some strategies you think that would be effective in like my class or Mr. Espinosa's class for having you practice writing more in English instead of translating? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any ideas?
The answer?
I think we can try, Sometimes it's easy to use translate, because you write in Spanish, and sometimes we need to do a little effort to. I think we can do it, we can try it. Maybe we can do it.
I think we can read more books and then use those work in like a project. And, yeah.
So instead of essays, like
Yeah.
more projects
Project, yeah.
that involve writing. One question: do you think your practice writing in English would be better if we didn't use computers? Maybe.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because many students use translation in computers, and I think using like writing is more popular. Well, in my opinion.
I could focus. I guess I'm more focused without a computer, my own opinion.
Of course, yeah. I think all of us,
Yeah.
myself too.
I would say just something like, remember, in our country, it's not like common use the computer.
Yeah.
So we instead use the notebooks and books. So maybe if we start doing things like by hand, it will be easier to us. So maybe we can try that instead of say, maybe to the other student you can say, you can use the computer, but for newcomer you can try to do in notebook or something like that. So yeah, it would be a good idea for them. So yeah, you can try that.
Because we can practice reading and writing at the same time. Yeah.
And how do you feel like across all your classes at Skyline? Do you think that your English writing skills have improved this year?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And what are some ways that you think your English has improved in terms of writing?
I was a ninth grader. At Skyline, it was a program like a Newcomer's program. It was a program in Skyline, and then they add that program, and that helped a lot of students a lot. Like they helped a lot of students a lot in the classes, and yeah, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing you think about like the difference between being in like Miss Schaefer's class or Miss Ariza's class, where it's like a sheltered environment, versus classes where like just mainstream, like English class, or like Mr. Espinosa's class, Mr. Johnson or Mr. Iglesias' class? Like, what do you think? What are some of the challenges of being in like my class versus Miss Schaefer's class? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Él básicamente dijo cuáles son algunos retos que tienes en esta clase en lugar de la de Miss Johnson, Miss Schaefer. ¿Se te hace más difícil esta clase que la otra?
O él quiere saber también cuál es la diferencia en estar en Miss Schaefer y la, ¿cómo se llama la otra maestra? Miss Araiza. ¿Qué es la diferencia en estar en la clase de Miss Schaefer y Miss Araiza como en estar en la de Mr. Rowe, Mr. Johnson y Mr. Espinosa? ¿Qué es la diferencia en estar en esas dos clases a estar en esas otras tres clases? ¿Qué sienten ustedes que es lo más difícil? Como que como en estar en ese lugar,
En ese
¿cuál-
entorno, pues.
en ese entorno, ajá, ¿cómo se sienten ustedes? ¿Qué es la diferencia? ¿Qué es lo que sienten ustedes que es más difícil?
Last year, I mean, I don't take Miss Rice's class anymore, but last year when I took it, I feel like I'm more comfortable because they were like, I feel like confident with myself, you know what I mean? Because there was a lot of students in there,
Yeah.
and like we could communicate to each other. Yeah, more easy. Yeah, and we also were practicing our English, you know, what I mean? Like reading and writing.
Yeah, it's like English language
Yeah,
development.
development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same, you know. The English is the same, so it's not too much different, you know.
Do you think? Okay, this is gonna be like my last question. Do you think the Google Classroom, where there were that I created with some modified assignments, like on Google Classroom, did that make things more helpful, or was it kind of just the same? You know,
That can help.
they can help.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some other things that you think would be more helpful, like for, let's say, newcomer students next year in this class?
Yeah, you know,
More talking.
yeah, more talking. That I was about to say that because I remember when I came here, I was like, I needed that confidence to speak and try to be like, try to act as me when I speak English, Spanish. Sorry. So, for example, for many people, mostly like newcomers also, it's very hard try to be comfortable speaking English. So maybe you can try to give them more confident, like talking with them or trying to put them in groups with people who speak English.
Yeah.
So maybe in that way they can help each other, or they will try to communicate. So that can help. But yeah, I think like trying to give them some more confidence to speak with other people and let them be with other people who speak English. It would be a good way to them to practice it. Yeah, because you know, we are, for example, when we are in group with people who only speak Spanish, we will not speak English. So, in that way, we cannot improve.
Of course.
So, you should try to put them in group with people who speak English. Because Mr. Johnson always say,
Only English.
only English. So, you can try that too. If they want to speak with you, it's obviously they will speak English. But with them, with
Student to student.
student,
You
you
can
can
take
try.
more,
Yeah.
Jennifer, what do you think?
No, yo no voy a ir en español.
Sí, yo te
It's
digo,
fine.
sí.
You can speak in Spanish.
¿Qué quiere?
Y él quiere saber, porque has visto los assignments que él ha puesto, que él traduce los trabajos y cosas así. Entonces él quiere saber cuál es, para los siguientes newcomers que van a venir, ¿qué crees tú que sería, que fuera como, que fuera de ayuda? Por él estaba diciendo de que los trate de poner en grupos
sí.
con personas de que hablen inglés.
Para
Porque
comunicarse más.
porque si los ponen con gente que habla español, solo van a hablar en español, entonces no van a improvisar. Entonces él quiere saber cómo que es tu opinión.
No, yo opino lo mismo también, porque yo sé que lo que dijo ayuda mucho, ¿sabes? Y si uno solo está hablando español, nunca va a aprender inglés y nunca lo va a practicar. Mientras tanto, si tú estás con personas que hablan inglés y no es que lo vas a hablar bien, vas a tratar de hablar con las personas, lo vas a practicar más y Entonces,
So, it seems like there's a consensus that y'all need to be separated.
Yeah, it's very hard though.
How do we feel about, starting next week being by yourself at a new table?
Mostly like people like that are in this class, they mostly all of them like almost speak Spanish, but they probably just, if you be like, oh yeah, like don't try to speak Spanish to them that much, it will be helpful. So
Okay, two options, two choices. First choice, stay at the same groups, but we're gonna agree to only try to speak English. That's first choice. Second choice, put you in new groups with non-Spanish speakers.
I think like English level matters a lot in this class, because if you put me like a different table with people who speak English, I mean, I got no problem.
Yeah.
But in my own opinion, you know what I mean. But there's a lot of students who like had a low English level, and I don't know, it will be hard for them.
Pero él quiere saber de aquí ustedes que dicen como que si se quedan en esta misma mesa que estamos todos aquí ahorita, pero que solo hablen
Que
inglés,
solo
no hablen
inglés.
nada de español,
O
que
van a
no,
poner
que no saben. O que quieren ustedes, ¿qué prefieren ustedes? ¿Quedarse en esta mesa como y hablar solo inglés, tratar de hablar solo inglés? O que los pongan, o que los pongan en otras mesas, pero siempre les van a hablar inglés. Pero casi la mayoría aquí hablan español, pero pues ya les dice, no, traten de hablar inglés, solo tienen que hablar inglés. Pero pueden tratar, si se quedan en la misma mesa, se sienten más cómodos estando aquí, pero solo hablar inglés, tratar de hablar inglés. Pues puede ser. Y tal vez tratar de hacer los trabajos que él pone, que son como los que los pone a nosotros, tratar de hacerlos tal vez como que para que vayan tratando y viendo esto.
I think that's a good idea. I think for me, separate is the best option, because in a table the people speak Spanish, it's a little weird not to speak English.
The second choice, where you're separate, it's like you can't speak Spanish. It's impossible.
Yes,
you have to go English.
Yes.
What do you two? Do you have any thoughts?
I think the
First option?
Yeah.
Groups
Yeah,
together,
and
but
speak-
English only.
yeah, For my opinion, the option is good.
The second option.
The second or the first option.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's mostly all the conversation.
We
I wanted to
we can use the three option, like be quiet.
No. That's not. I want you all to talk together. I think if I could just say some things about like my class and my approach.
No, yo quiero la primera que me dijo.
Pero vas a hablar inglés.
Pues sí, habla inglés.
Yeah, is that the difference between my class and Miss Schaefer and Miss Ariza's class is that like this English class is about like learning just writing skills in general, like how to write a capstone paper, how to write analysis about like a book, like Hamlet or whatever. And to a certain extent, like if you are doing my classwork, let's say in Spanish, and then translating it to English, you're still learning like writing skills. It's just not as ideal as practicing the writing skills originally in English. And so that's like my problem right now, is like how can I push my newcomer students to try to attempt my classwork originally in English with no translation, because you're going to learn more that way about English.
Or I was telling them the same thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe they can challenge themselves and try to do the assignments that we do, and not do like the ones that you put for them, because you know they have different for them. Like there's like the translator.
Yeah, there's more vocab.
Yeah, so maybe if they try to do like, maybe like the ones where there's like questions about the book and stuff when they're reading, like the questions like, oh, like what's happening in the book, like everything. So maybe like that's gonna probably help them a lot too.
Any last comments or thoughts?
I just want to say thank you because you are worrying to us. Like, for example, you care about us to develop our English, and well, I mean, like, you are really like caring about us, and well, yeah, thank you, Mr. O,
Yeah.
because you have been a good teacher.
I appreciate you guys. I wish I could teach like the ELD class, like that way it'd be like really focused on acquiring English language. Like this class is a bit different. It's like
But I
12th grade
think we
English.
have been like, I know it's very hard to teacher like you when you are not ED teacher, because you know we're gonna use the translator as you said, and that's true, because even me sometimes I can just like do something for my own, because I know I am good writing in Spanish. When I was in my country, I got too many themes, like for example rewords writing in Spanish. So sometimes I use that to write in English, to write in Spanish, and then translate, because it's way easier.
of course.
But I try to challenge myself and say, no, this is not gonna happen. So, and you also, the last year you always were like, try to do it in English, try to speak with English. So I think if you encourage something to do it, it would be
More encouragement.
Yeah.
So wrapping up, some takeaways, like more handwritten things would work. Translating is not, Google Translate's not possible. So less computer, more handwriting. Challenge you all more daily, remind you to speak in English. Have mixed seating, like perhaps separate seating, so you're all put outside your comfort zone. Have to struggle a tiny bit. And yeah, just trying to develop a culture of pushing ourselves. Like to just try to write in English and not rely on translation.
It will work. I know it will work.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for today's little conversation. That's it. Thank you. A round of applause for everyone. Okay, and then we need to take a picture too.